So this is where I want to take this. We all want to have a healthy sex life, right? We all want to do whatever it is. Just fill in the blank for yourself. I want to do whatever it is, but my stuck traumatic state does not allow me to do so. So we all want to have, we'll say, a healthy sex life. I would encourage people to not sacrifice their well-being and their feelings of safety in an attempt to achieve that goal. The goal can still happen. I want you all to have whatever it is that your heart's desire. But take your own inventory and ask yourself, am I ready for this? Let's do another just really easy stereotypical example here. Let's say we have a soldier comes back from war in a very traumatized state. Let's go super stereotypical. Loud sounds like a car backfiring triggers their PTSD, we'll say. That person might want to go to a shooting range. But those sounds might be too much, and maybe it ends up re-traumatizing them or triggers that stuck free state of their own, and they go into a panic and it just re-traumatizes them. So they want to do this, but they're not quite ready for it yet. And the same thing, that just take that stereotypical example, and I want you to apply that to yourself. And for this example, we're talking about someone's sex life. Yes, we want to be able to have a healthy sex life. Yes, we want to be able to go to the shooting range, whatever it is. But you might not be there quite yet, and that's something you have to be really honest with yourself about. And if you're putting yourself into a situation where you're constantly re-traumatizing yourself, you might not be helping it at all. You may be making it worse. So I would really encourage people to not put themselves in positions where they're just re-traumatizing themselves over and over again. You can still have your goal. It is possible to meet that goal of having a better sex life, or going to the shooting range, or holding a spider, whatever it is. But you might not be there yet, and that's okay. You got to find safety first. Regulation, it's not a one-time thing. It is not something that you do as crises arise. I mean, it is, but it's an ongoing process. It's not just for crises. It's a slow process to build your ventral vagal safety state. That's a slow process. Again, building safety anchors, my course on justinlmft.com. That can be helpful to help you build your vagal brake, the strength of your social engagement system. But yeah, regulation is not something that we don't wait until the crisis to do some regulation. You need to do these things beforehand. This is true for all of us, I think. Work on your self-regulation before the crisis. And really, you want to do this, I would recommend in general, a bit at a time, not all at once. We don't want to overwhelm your system more than it can handle. Gradual exposure, then bit by bit work your way to your goal. So I've shared before on this podcast that I have a fear of heights. It's pretty general, but especially when I'm in my car and I can't see over the edge, like if I'm driving on a mountain cliff or something like that. And this came up this past weekend. We drove to Yosemite in California, and there's this awful cliff. It's a windy road from Stockton to Yosemite. Windy road, and I can't see over the edge. So I know for my system that's too much. That's too much for my system. So I asked my wife, hey, do you mind driving this section? I just can't handle it. I'm not there yet. But I noticed that there is, as I continue to do my own work, there are other sections on that drive that were challenging the last time we were there. But this time I was able to handle them a lot better. And they had cliffs. It wasn't as extreme. There's one section I'm not able to handle quite yet. But there are other sections where before it was a trigger for me, and I did feel that panicky flavor come up. But this time I was like, oh, I don't feel it this time. I'm way more well regulated. I'm able to talk with my wife, with the kids, listen to music, sing. I'm fine. I'm good. So little by little, I've been working on myself and this whole fear of heights while I drive thing. And I noticed a significant difference. But I also noticed that there's this one cliff that is too much for me. And even thinking about it, I could feel myself getting a little bit of that like freeze energy, which is not a bad thing. And I could maybe, roll through it, but it was like, I made the decision that I'm not going to try and push my way through this. I'm going to compile my wins. And that's what I want you all to do as well, is instead of jumping into whatever it is, bit by bit, gradual exposure, compile, build up those wins, build up that success, that confidence level. And really, it's building up the strength of your vagal brake to be able to handle that next level of challenge. So you need to ask yourself what you can tolerate. If your sex life is something that is a challenge for you, what can you tolerate? Can you tolerate just like simple touch? You may have a hard time with that. And that's just like, you got to be able to ask yourself and take your own inventory and say, hey, what can I handle with whoever it is? Do I actually feel safe with this person? Do I feel, is there co-regulation happening with this person? Do I feel safe? Can I handle touch? Can I handle fill in the blank, whatever it is? And you just got to be honest with yourself. So I would say just little by little, in general, no matter what it is, it can be helpful. And then build from there. Notice those feelings, what it feels like to be successful. Notice what it feels like to feel more safety in your system, little by little, until you get to where you want, and then challenge yourself with something else.